Salutations, my joyful peers. Have you seen those ads about Halo Infinite Mobile? I was really pumped when I saw it because I can now play Halo Infinite in my fiery chariot on my way to church this Saturday. But I was also confused that I've never heard of it because Halo is as great as Star Wars. So when Halo gets up off the couch and goes mobile, everyone should be going hog wild over it, like there should be blimps flying around, blasting brothers in arms at sporting events and picnics, but you see none of that. But when I clicked on it, it took me to this Vietnamese air page. Then I went to our trustworthy friend Google, the Big G, and found that 3 for 3 is still thinking about it and haven't even started on it. So I'm on the floor screaming like a cartoon villain who just had his plans foiled because YouTube just gave me an ad for a game that doesn't even exist. Like, what the law? Like this Christ and his apostles predicted. This kind of stuff also happens in the church. If you've seen my video covering the dark side of Christmas, you would know that the Roman Catholic Church sells Christmas off as a biblical teaching. But when you look it up through the Bible, you don't find it anywhere in Scripture. This is one of many examples that work the same exact way. So be mindful of false preachers. They look just like us. They go to church and have their large print Bibles. But just because someone is a good person doesn't mean they have the truth. In fact, most of the greatest people of all time don't have the perfect truth. But it goes much deeper than that. There are also non-believers that saw off biblical errors that don't even exist. One of which is that Adam and Eve started off as the only two humans. So all of humanity are directly descended from them, which makes us all directly related. It says that God created man. Then there was Adam. It doesn't say he was the first. Also, in verse 14, we see a time before earth has seasons. That was before the moon. Many of the world's religions and ancient societies spoke of a time before the moon. Mankind existed before the moon was placed. That's how we know how whack out it was. Earth before the moon was like the galactic civil war before the Rebel Alliance. There was no order at all. Not only that, but after Cain hit the road, he stumbled into a busy civilization that was already there. Either that or they just randomly spawned and had enchanted weapons and full sets of armor. There's even a false misconception that the Bible testifies against the existence of other gods. But if that's the case, then why does the Lord your God condemn us from hanging out with them? If they don't exist, then what's the big deal? Why should you worry about them if they don't exist? In fact, Satan is actually described as the god of the earth, god of the dead, which also makes Satan a foreign god. Another one is many try to say that they give 2 different times for the crucifixion. Mark chapter 15, verse 25, says it happened on the 3rd hour, while John chapter 19, verse 14, says it happened on the 6th hour. Like, with the law, it's like when I want to go out on a Saturday night, and my mom doesn't give a rat's KD ratio about my age, but when she needs me to do something, she all of a sudden magically cares about my age and starts lecturing me about it. But these 2 books of the Bible are written by 2 different people using 2 different time systems. Half the time the Bible makes errors, it's because you're reading it wrong. The other half the stuff the Bible gets wrong are intentional, as an effort to teach us something. God does not just flat out make mistakes. God's mistakes are very coordinated and organized. One example is the prophecy of the fig tree, which refers to the nation of Israel. But they will come up with any interpretation except for the correct interpretation. They come up with all kinds of interpretations that I don't feel like getting into. But Luke chapter 13, verse 7 says, I found no figs under the tree which he cultivated for 3 years. Just like Jesus spread his message for 3 years before his game crashed. Then he went hog wild, raged out on that tree like a giggity little fart monkey. In the middle of winter. So, are we talking about Jesus here or Darth Vader? So they end up preaching about a God who just takes his anger out on a tree in the middle of winter when he knows very well that it's not time to bear fruit. Scripture intentionally makes this error to teach us about Israel's fate. The Israelites have sticks up their poopy little butts and rejected the Lord your God. So Israel must collapse, then regain independence, just like it did in 1948. Because Jesus found no fruit on his fig tree, but then wanted to give them another chance. Revelations chapter 6, verse 13 also says that the stars in the last days will come crashing down to earth. But think about it, the closest star to earth is the sun, and earth even revolves around the sun. Do you really think so many people would consider the Bible scripture? If this error wasn't made intentionally, this error is making way for a metaphor. Because it describes people here as the same amount of stars as Peter Griffin's crimes. So, my brethren, life is a dangerous minefield. People do not care if they're right or not. They just want to act on their programming because it's all they know how to do. Well, that's about it.